Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports here, myself Charlie. Reminder before the video starts, please like, please comment and please subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try to become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Right, as always, the international break has been and gone, flew by some would say. And England have gone 10 from 10 in their World Cup qualifying group. They sort of, I don't want to say limped, but beat Albania on Sunday. It wasn't the greatest of watches, but listen, England were already through. There was very little on the line for either team, actually, because Albania knew that they had got themselves a playoff as well. Now, one takeaway from the game was how important Harry Kane is to England. His goal was just a striker's instinct. He just knew where the ball was going to drop. And it's something that he's shown throughout his career. I do think he's become a better player at Bayern Munich. I think Company has found a way to sort of use him in both roles. Use him as a goal scorer, but also let him drop deep. Yes, he's got the players around him. Elise, Diaz being the obvious one, although he's going to be suspended for the Champions League game. But he's got those players around him to use. But I do think that Company's found the way to work him out. And I do think Tuchel's on the way to doing that as well for England. I think he's looked probably at where Southgate went wrong with Kane at major tournaments because, let's face it, he's copped a lot of flack at major tournaments regarding the fact that he does drop deep and isn't necessarily always where a striker should be. But what it made me think afterwards is, what are we going to do when he's gone? Because before Kane, people were saying, I was having this discussion with someone at the Serbia game, we haven't got a great deal of strikers around who are scoring goals regularly. I had a track on Transfermarkt, and according to them, they've got Liam Delap down as England's second most valuable striker. Well, he's not starting for Chelsea at the moment, so there's your first problem. Dominic Solanke, who I do think is a good striker, but can't stay fit at the moment and isn't scoring goals regularly. And then it was sort of a bit of a drop. You had Ivan Toney, but he's plying his trade in Saudi Arabia now. And there was others as well who I can't spring to mind. Obviously, Danny Welbeck, because of his age, was quite low down. But I do think he is still one of England's best options up front. But it is worrying when you think about it, because where are all the great strikers? You look at the 90s and the strikers that were around. Teddy Sheringham, Andy Cole, Alan Shearer, Stan Collymore, Dion Dublin. You know, just to name a few. And then you had Michael Owen coming through. There was lots and lots of options there for England. Now, it's really Kane or bust. I know Rashford can play through the middle, but is it an option you'd like? Probably not. And there's the other options of, do you start with a non-sort of regular striker, a false nine, as City have done, for example, with Foden. But it is a bit worrying because, obviously, touch wood, it doesn't happen. But if Harry Kane does get injured, we haven't necessarily got the depth in that position. And there's no real young strikers coming through that are grabbing the headlines, so to speak. There's no one really who you're looking at clubs and going, yeah, they're going to be the next great striker. You know, potentially Divine Mbama's banging him in for the under-21s, but he's at Stoke at the moment, and West Ham bizarrely sold him on. But I think it's interesting because it's what do we do without Kane? Do we have a bit of a problem producing strikers? You know, because in the recent years we've become sort of petrified, I guess, and the whole getting the ball in the box and getting it into your big striker up front has gone. We've probably started to coach goal scorers out of the game as well. It's all about possession and link-up play. And I think it's been spoken about the decline of the number 9, certainly in this country. It worries you because Harry Kane's not getting any younger. And then it's, well, where do we go next? I know that we're not the only country in this scenario, but you know, you've got countries like Norway who've got options like Haaland and Strand Larsen and Sorloth, and we're looking at going, well, we've not got that. It's interesting to see what happens next. I don't know. Have we got a bit of a crisis? Is it something that needs to be looked at? You know, where is our next number 9 going to come from? Who knows? Might be playing, to be fair. Joe Vardy, for example, they may come out of nowhere. You don't know. And I don't want to be negative all the time, but yeah, where is our next great striker going to come from? Who knows? As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. Have a great day.